Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to share some tips for when you're starting out as a freelance graphic designer. I feel like when I was starting out I had a lot of questions and I didn't really know where I could find answers to them. So I hope with this video I can help some of you out there with some of your struggles and maybe avoid you making the same mistakes as I did when I was starting out. Before reaching out to clients, it's important to have a put together portfolio. And I remember when I was starting out, I was really worried about not having any projects yet to showcase in my portfolio. I actually had the privilege to go to university and study graphic design, so I already had some school projects to put in my portfolio. After finishing my studies, I also did 2 internships in 2 different agencies. There I worked on different projects I also used in my portfolio. And if you do the same, of course, always be careful with what you share and where. Because you're still working as an intern for a bigger agency, it could still be that the agency doesn't like you to share work that you made as your own, because you made it in the name of the agency. So always make sure to communicate clearly with your boss or internship supervisor what you can and cannot share. So for example, I was allowed to put projects in my digital portfolio document that I could share through email with potential clients, but I was not allowed to put any of the work I made during my internships online on my portfolio website or share it on social media. If you really don't have any projects to show, just make some up. Find a brand that you really like and make some fictional stuff for them, or maybe even invent a brand, because the people who are hiring you don't really care if the projects in your portfolio are real or not. They just want to see your style and skills. But of course, be transparent about what are real projects you make for real clients and what are just passion projects. I would also really advise you to pay attention to the design of the portfolio document itself. Whether it's a digital document, a printed version, or a version on a website, it's again an opportunity to show people and businesses your personal style. Let's talk about finding clients. When you're starting out as a freelancer, you will of course have to focus on finding clients. One of the things I did and still do are sending out spontaneous applications to companies and brands. Put together a quick email in which you present yourself and your services. I find that this works best, for me at least. In the beginning, I also used to physically go around to stores to hand out business cards, but I feel like the response was not that great because I would often meet with employees and not the owner or the person responsible for hiring you. I feel like emails are a better way to reach out to those people. And I often get a response from those businesses that they are not looking for a graphic designer at the moment, but that they will keep my contact details if they ever need a graphic designer in the future. Sometimes that is just a polite way to saying that they're not interested in your services, but it has happened to me that brands reach out several months later or even years later because of an application I sent out. So yeah, I think it's worth a try. Of course, social media is a really important tool for any business these days, but especially being a graphic designer working in the visual industry, I think it's a great way to show what you do, showcase your work, or maybe the projects you're currently working on. I personally really like Instagram because it's a really visual platform. I actually have a lot of clients who first reached out to me through Instagram, so I would really advise you to be present on social media. When you're starting out as a graphic designer, you may not know how to set your prices correctly. I definitely didn't charge enough when I was starting out, but I feel like the longer you're working as a freelancer, the more confidence you will grow and the better you will be able to set your prices correctly. So just try to be honest with yourself. Don't minimize the amount of work a project takes, and always protect yourself, so make contracts if you need to. And I would really advise you to always ask for an advance payment before you start doing any work, because I have had 1 or 2 incidents where I provided clients with my services and they decided to just not pay me. So yeah, be really careful of that. Good things take time. I don't think there's a magical way to become super successful as a graphic designer overnight, or I haven't found it at least. I would say that building your business and finding the right clients takes time. Just as with anything in life, the key is to stay consistent. Even after 3 years, I still have to look for new clients after projects have ended. And you will also have to accept that working as a freelancer isn't as stable as working as an employee for a boss or a company. So there will be periods where you have lots to do, and there are just times where you don't have as much work. Lastly, learn along the way. Starting your own business really is a learning process. You'll probably make mistakes, and that's okay as long as you learn from them. I think it's important to know that you and your business are always growing and evolving. I'm still learning loads myself on the way, and I feel like that's totally normal. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope this was helpful. And if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. And I would love to hear your advice and stories in the comments. So yeah, see you next time.